Welcome to East Coast Averages, the podcast that brings you stories from everyday people from all around the world. Recorded on the east coast of Australia, I'm your host Nick, and each week we'll sit down with average people who have unique stories to tell. Let's peek over the back fence and see what's happening in other people's lives. I never know what I'm going to discover until I sit down and start chatting to them. Today's guest is Lindsay. Now, I met Lindsay when I answered a random Facebook ad to go and jam with some randos at a local studio, which I went to maybe half a dozen times. Lindsay plays the harmonica. Had a couple of good jam sessions and life got in the way and we all sort of went our own separate ways there. I remember thinking at the time that when I start this podcast, I'm going to look Lindsay up and go and have a chat with him or have him to my place. But anyway, it's the first time the East Coast Averages have been on the road also. I took all my kit down to Lindsay's house and we sat in his dining room and had a conversation. The conversation didn't go anywhere near where I thought it was going to go. It was pretty serious. As he explains, he made a couple of bad decisions as a young bloke and found himself fighting addiction. He also goes on to explain how he got himself out of that addiction, accepted help, and went on to dedicate the better part of 40 years to helping others in the same predicament. So thanks for sharing your story, Lindsay. It's a positive one, and I hope everyone enjoys it. Hey, Lindsay, welcome to the show.
Thanks,
How's it
mate.
going?
Yeah, pretty good.
And what's your story, Lindsay?
Well, man, my story started back in New Zealand. I'm 75 years old now, and but God, I've done so much in my life. God, it was really funny because we're only talking about this with my son. He says, "I don't know anything about your past," and I said, "Well, no, we grew up with humble beginnings in Auckland."
Yep.
And, and I was in and out of different jobs till I found a job I liked, and stuck with it a while. Then back in the 70s, I grew up and I got into the music scene, and I was working in nightclubs. And
In New Zealand or
in New Zealand.
in Australia? In New Zealand, yep.
Particularly a nightclub called a Tabla. And and then an ad came up for a job in a theatre, and it was with musical Hair.
Yep.
So I joined the Hair.
Was that when Marsha Hines was in
Marsha
it?
Hines, yeah, John English. There was.
You know my podcast is not supposed to have famous people on it.
Oh,
Lindsay.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you
You're not going
asked
to be
the
too far. I know. I was just saying, no, it's all right. But we'll just track back a bit before that. How old were you when you came over from Australia?
I was probably about 20.
Yep.
When I come here. I come here in 1972. 6th of June 1972.
Well, that was just about when I was nearly coming into the world.
Yes.
What was it back then in New Zealand? Was it a thing to come to Australia?
Yeah.
Was it a real? How like English people talk about, let's go backpacking in Australia, but in the 70s in New Zealand, it was a real. Was it like Australia 50 years ago? You know what I mean? Was it like? Was it same but different? Was it?
Yeah.
Was it similar
look. I mean, for teenagers, there wasn't a hell of a lot. We used to get on the bus and go into town and make sure you catch the last bus home because it was a long walk,
Yep.
and you'd walk into town and you'd just walk around the city, and get into trouble.
Yep.
And
Was it a pretty safe city?
I was always safe,
Yeah.
like anywhere, you get into a fight if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But we hung in this laneway called Vulcan Lane. And it was a little trendy lane, and we used to drink at the pub called the Occidental, and meet girls all day. That's
booze and women, mate. The two things that most
booze
people.
and women, mate. That's what it was all about back then. I had no ambitions to be anything else but booze and women.
Yep.
And,
did you when you went to school? Did you go all the way through high school to like the equivalent of year 10, or did you do year 12? Or
no, I left the day I turned 15.
Yep.
And I went and worked in a shop, and as a storeman,
It was sort of done back then, eh? Like even like I talked to my dad, he left school at 14, became a boilermaker, then joined the Navy at 16. It wasn't frowned upon back then in the 60s, 50s, 60s at 14 as a bloke to go, I'm getting a job and be in a factory or something, you know. So you did that, and then you answered that ad.
Yeah, well, prior to that, before that, you know, like as a kid, you always wanted to run away to the circus, so to speak, you know, wanted to go and do something, look for excitement, you know. And I actually, my second job after that was a butcher, and I was just about to get an apprenticeship there when I got the call from the Union Steamship Company saying that I've got a ship if I want to, you know, to become a seaman. You know.
Oh, so was that a job you'd applied for and you were just waiting to hear back?
And I got this job. So I ended up joining on this boat called the Martua and toured around the Fijian Islands, the Pacific Islands, and picking up copra and stuff like that. And came back and then...
so what were you picking up? Copra? What's
copra? It's coconut stuff for medicines and stuff. All sorts of cookings and all sorts of stuff. And and I joined another boat called the Tofua, and I was on there as a deck boy, and I started off. Then the next one up is the bucko, and well, this bucko didn't like me at all. You know, and he accused me of stealing a pair of jeans, which is dumb because when you went to American Samoa, they had all these Amco jeans. You know, they were white back then. In the 70s, they were cool.
Yep.
And
so they were like getting American clothes in American Samoa sort of thing. Yep.
And they were cheap. They were cheap, you know, and so I bought 2 pair, and I was wearing them, and he thought they were his. And he beat the living crap out of me. So anyway, he told the union bloke that I stole a pair of his jeans. I said I didn't. I got 2 pairs, and here they are. And anyway, it's really weird. But the secretary of the union was a friend of my mum's. And he rang up and he says, "Oh, Lindsay's got to come up and stand up in front of the union, you know." And he said, "We're going to sack you, mate." I said, "Oh, well, you know." And I tore my union book up and I threw it away.
Yep.
And so that was. I only did 2 trips and that was it. And so I come ashore and I wanted some excitement because in Fiji, you know, like we were chasing the Fijian girls and we'd do, you know, drinking, rolling back to the all that stuff.
Just
you know,
living as teenagers do when they're out and about.
Yeah. And anyway, I went back to Auckland and I ended up getting married, having a couple of kids. And she went out with someone else and I said, "Well, see you later." And I jumped on a plane. Oh, yeah, no, I didn't. I left. And I went and got a flat with all these hippies, you know, and that's when I started working in this nightclub.
Yep.
And then I got this job working on hair. That was in 1971.
As like a roadie sort of thing, or
as backstage as a stageman, and you know, when I come over here with the show, you know, joined it in Brisbane. Next thing, the show finished, and I come back to Sydney, and I didn't know what to do when I was here. Because I didn't want to go backwards.
Yep.
And so I stayed here and I ended up, this guy, I saw this guy, he was on a horse and he was this hippie, long hair, a real freak back in the 70s, you know, which was cool. And he says, "Oh, I got a room if you want one." So I went and stayed, lived there.
So was he just random going down the street on a horse?
Just random, and I just stopped and we just started
having a
talking.
chat. He said, "Oh, I've got a spare room.
Got a spare room if you want, you know." So why not, you know? And because that's what you did back then, you know. You did a lot of couch surfing back in the 70s, you know.
Yep.
And so and I was backwards and forwards to Byron Bay, you know, and and I got back in the 70s. I got hooked up into the you know, this this girl. And she was, man, this girl was hot as, you know. And one night we were sitting around in this unit, and she walked in and she says, "Oh, have you ever tried drugs?" And I says, you know, because I wanted to be cool. I said, yeah, all the time, you know. And she injected me with this stuff, you know, and man, I just vomited. But you know what? It was the best I'd ever felt in my life.
Yeah, was that heroin, was it?
That was heroin.
Yeah.
That was the best. And, you know, and I wanted that feeling. I wanted that feeling. I chased that, you know. But I was still in the music industry and all that, you know, and, you know, and I picked up, you know, I started playing harmonica, you know, and I was playing that for a while, played with a few bands. And, you know, we toured up into Byron Bay and to the Blues Festival, and we're backstage with all the big rock stars and all that. You know, it was, you know, it's probably one of the biggest things that ever happened in my life.
Yep.
And, you know, and I then back in...
So just to stop there, when you had that first hit of heroin, did you wake up the next morning and think, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have done that? You know what I mean? Or like that's when you wake up next morning and go, fuck, I need more of that.
I want that feeling again, you know?
Yeah.
And
do you harbour some obviously you've gotten over that and we'll go through it, I suppose, but did you look back at that chick and think, fuck, what'd you do that to me for?
No.
You fucking ruined my life.
I just fell in love with them all.
Yeah, with all the drugs that you could get.
It just changed my whole perspective.
Yep.
It just changed everything about the way I was living, you know. I wanted to be a derelict. I wanted to be a dirty, filthy junkie.
Yep.
You know, I wanted to do all that stuff, you know. I don't know why it appealed to me, but it was that feeling, you know. And I chased that for the next 10 years, you know, that feeling. And, you know, thank God, you know, I didn't hurt anyone. I didn't break into anyone's home. I didn't do any of that stuff, you know.
So most of the, and I guess that's something that a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of people addicted to drugs who function in society. They still work. They still, you know, they've got jobs. That's how they get they feed their addiction. They're not all going out stealing from people.
No.
So you were a functioning...
Mate, I still had a job. I was driving trucks, you know, under the influence back then, you know, and I was pulling containers off the wharf.
Yep.
You know, and...
was it like rife in the people you were around?
Oh, mate, it was just... The whole scene was, you know, it was... God, back in the 70s, Sydney was alive.
Yep.
It was so alive, you know, like you didn't go to bed till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, if that, you know, and then you go to work the next day and do it all over again. It was just, you know, great. And then the music scene here was awesome. You know, there was all these open mics and, it was all that stuff, that exciting, that hippie stuff, you know, and then I just wanted more than that. So when I kicked a habit back then, you know, I started to go back to school and learn, did my social welfare degree.
Yep.
And, you know.
What was the catalyst to say, I need to get off this shit?
Because I knew if I kept doing it, I was going to die.
Yeah, yep.
You know, for 10 years, I chased that feeling I had the first time.
And you never got it back again?
Never ever got it back.
Yep.
It was always a chore after that.
Yeah.
There was never any going, wow, this is the life after that. Never.
Did it dawn on you through that time that you're actually addicted to heroin and you couldn't function without it?
Yeah, but
did that piss you off or?
Yeah, it did, because I didn't want to stop and be sick.
Yeah.
You know, so I kept it going, you know, like, and people don't realise that people who do use, you know, I mean, there's a lot of underlying issues there.
Yep.
You know, it's not
and I certainly don't want you to bring up stuff you don't want to talk about. You
No.
know what I mean? Yeah, like to bring back bad memories. or
Oh, no,
anything.
no,
Yeah.
I don't. Look, nothing bad ever happened to me. It was just I was on my own and no one knew me when I was here in Sydney.
Yep.
I was anonymous, you know, and I met this bird, you know, and, this woman. And you know, and that's where it all started.
Yep.
And but you know what?
So it was just heroin. Was there speed and cocaine back in the day? It was just basically heroin and weed.
It was just heroin and pot, yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of the time was because you couldn't get the pot. You know, like back in the 70s, there's a big cleanup of pot. You know, like and you couldn't get it. So you went for the next best thing.
Yeah, which was
heroin. You know, and I mean, not everyone does it. You know, but a certain.
Did you know people throughout that time that could take it or leave it, or most people took that hit and that was it?
Well, they're the ones that funded my habit.
Yeah.
You know, they'd come in there. You know, you knew they weren't sick, so you'd rip them off.
Yeah.
You know,
okay. So you take a little bit off the top sort of thing. Yeah.
Or just
because I remember when I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, I used to walk up. I distinctly remember walking up railway station stairs, and it said smoking is harder to give up than heroin.
Yeah.
And I used to think there's no fucking way that smoking is harder to give up than heroin because I'm not fucking robbing someone and then I fucking gave up smoking.
7 times more addictive than heroin.
It was the fucking hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life was to get off cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I tried multiple times I always think back and I might have been fucking 8 or 9 at the time, like walking up the station at Wiley Park railway station or something. You know the sign that would say "Stop smoking." It's
beware. This could be handed to you.
Like it's harder to give up than heroin. I just think, I'm not a fucking people that smoke don't go out and I'm not robbing people to get a pack of smokes.
Yeah,
you just about have to these days at the cost of them. But so did you find?
I smoked 2 packets of smokes a day. You know, as well. Yep. You know, but they were only 25 cents a pack.
Well, I used to pay 90 cents for a pack of Winnie Blue back in the day.
So you know, like you could afford to smoke. And then, you know, bouncing forward back to the 80s, in 1986, that was it. You know, I knocked everything on the head. I went and there was this trial in Redfern. I don't know. I have no idea who it was, but they said they can cure heroin addiction with vitamin C. So this guy just put this needle into me, and he just pumped all this vitamin C into me. You know, and it was dumb. It was dumb. You know, and I just I walked down. I just threw up all over the place. Just vitamin C. You know. Orange juice, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And anyway, but the fact that I went there was when I knew I needed help.
You needed to get off it. Yeah.
So I went and I spoke to this woman, this counsellor at I won't say where, but I spoke to this counsellor and she gave me a suggestion. She said, "Look, there's this place called the Langton Centre in Moore Park where it was a drug and alcohol kind of place where you went and you got counsellors and all that." So I went down there and I went in there and I dried out and And
how long would it take before the symptoms would start of you getting sick?
Oh, within 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah. So you'd have to have a couple of hits a day.
Yeah.
Did you supplement that with like endone tablets or codeine from the chemist or anything like that?
Well, if there was no heroin around at the time, you went and you got it was this bottle of cough mixture is called paracodin.
Yep.
And you drank a bottle and it was hard to get down. God, it was hard to get, but it stopped the cravings for a little bit.
Yep.
You know, and so anyway,
did you find that you got judged heaps by society back then? Cause
I didn't care.
You didn't care. You were living.
Mate,
you chose. I'm living the drug addict life.
Yeah, got pulled up by the cops a lot. You know, charged with self-administration. You know, nothing no physical violence, no nothing like that. You know, it's just all about what I was doing to me.
Yeah.
And
did your mum know, like back in New Zealand? They had no idea that you were. Would they be surprised? Did they know about it later on in life?
Oh, yeah.
When you spoke to them, were they upset with you that you didn't?
No,
say,
no. They were thankful I was off it.
Yeah.
You know, when I went back and let them. And
did they say that we thought you were sort of predisposed to that lifestyle growing up? That was like
no, they didn't know because I was a professional liar back then too.
Yeah.
You know, like see, today I work a program. It's called an honest program, and I'm not supposed to say this on it, but it's I do a Narcotics Anonymous program.
Yeah,
and I've been clean now for 38 years, and you know, and I worked as a drug and alcohol counsellor for 28 of those 38, and I started giving back to other people who need help. You know, and a lot of it is, you know, I'll walk along the street and I'll see someone in a doorway. And I'll walk up to them and I'll say, "You okay, mate?" Yeah. You know, and if they're not, I say, "You want a coffee?" Or, you know, I'll give them a coffee. I just, whatever. But I'll just say, you know, there is a way out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, like if they want to talk, they'll talk. If they don't,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So so now you've been off heroin for 38 years, are you able to take, say you get an operation on your back or something, are you able to take endone and stuff without, there's no fear of getting back to that?
Well, it's a 1 day at a time program.
Yeah.
But it's the way the program. If I'm working the program, I'm pretty safe.
Yeah.
And you know, like.
So do you still need to go to those meetings to stay off it, or you could not have anything to do with any of those programs? Be off it.
I still do meetings.
Yeah.
I still do meetings because not a little bit for me. But not, you know, I keep what I have by giving it away.
Yeah.
You know, because all what I've been given is nothing if I'm not giving that stuff away to other people.
Yeah.
It's all that knowledge, and that knowledge, if it's not going anywhere, it's not doing any good to me. Anyway.
Yeah. Do you find it like different now, I suppose, with ice and all that, which is it's a different drug, so it's much, Yeah.
It's a filthy drug. It's I see what it does to people, you know, like over the years, you know, like, I mean, as a drug and alcohol counsellor, right, you know, the amount of times, you know, the assaults and the violence towards people who are trying to help.
Yeah.
It's a different drug, you know. Yeah.
So back in 80, so we'll just rewind a bit. In 86, you went and got help.
Yeah.
And you went and did a degree at uni. So when you chose to go to uni for your degree, you thought, I'm going to do something to help people in the midst of addiction.
That was the whole thing.
And how did you find uni doing that course, having come from a place of being an addict for so long? You would have probably been the only one in the class.
No, actually, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, but funny, I was, you know how you pair up with someone in a class, you know.
Yep.
I was paired up with this nun.
Yep.
And, you know, and it was really funny because she was, you know, I sat down one day at lunchtime and I told her my story. And this nun kissed my hand. And she says, I'm with you all the way.
Yep.
You know, because you're telling the truth. You're an honest man.
Yep.
You know, and I just said, well, that's all I want to do is do that honesty stuff.
Yep.
You know, and so.
So you got through the degree. Where did you do that at?
Did that at TAFE in Ultimo.
Yep.
And it was really funny too because like. I only went to school to eat my lunch, you know, like I said, you know, God, I was only, I left at 15. I couldn't wait to get out of there.
So it was a bit of a culture shock doing essays and
mate, I had no idea. But I did, one of my essays was on black deaths in custody, you know, and I got 100% mark out of it.
Yep.
And it was the first 100% mark. I was tickled pink about that, you know. And so when I did that, I thought, you know what, I can do anything I want to do.
Did you have any moments during that course where you felt like you're slipping back into the lifestyle of being an addict, or you'd made a decision?
Oh no, I'd been running at the time. I went back to I got a job as a counsellor, and I was the only male in Australia ever to coordinate a women's refuge.
All right,
and I was the coordinator there for 2 years. I won't say the name of it, but it was in Glebe, and I was on the domestic violence committee in the central area, and all that, all this stuff started coming to me when I let go of my past.
Yep.
And I started to build my life again, and I don't want this to come across like it's all doom and gloom. It's not.
No, that's all right.
It's not.
It escalated quickly from New Zealand to the midst of drug.
Well, it did, because I was looking for something.
Yeah.
But here now, I wouldn't give my life up for anything. Now, the stuff the rewards. I did. I went back and I did a tour with Jesus Christ Superstar. Did Australia and New Zealand with that.
As a roadie in the stage managing sort of thing.
Yeah.
And was there heaps of people? There's a lot of people behind the scenes on those shows, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, I can be in a room. Full of music. I used to go even back in the Bondi Lifesavers days and all those nightclubs. I can go out to a club and I can sit in a room with people smoking pot and doing anything there, and it won't affect me. It doesn't affect me.
Yep.
Because I have a strong program.
Yeah.
But and
behind the scenes for those shows, was it good fun? Like working?
Oh, mate, it's awesome fun.
Yeah.
Mate, like I said, booze and girls.
Yep.
Booze and girls, mate. And in that time, I was still using it, and I got married. And I got married to Jill.
Yep.
And the one you met.
Yep.
And anyway, we had to split up because we couldn't get it together.
Yeah. And if you were walking past your house or walking past yourself and your wife in the street, there is no way fucking known that you would look at you two and say you'd come from that.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Because you just don't. No. And I think that's the thing. You can go through all these really shitty things growing up, but there's a fucking way out.
There is always a way out.
There's help if you want it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I said, you would never pick your wife and you for having gone through all that sort of stuff. I thought the music scene, absolutely, because the harmonica and you've probably got some pretty good tales to tell of seeing all the bands that we now got to pay $300 to see and get with 100,000 people. I was talking to a girl, actually Friday's episode, and she saw AC/DC in a pub, you know what I mean? And she said it was infinitely better than seeing them. And she's also seen them at Stadium Australia where there's fucking 80,000 people.
Mate, we used to
they were infinitely fucking better at the pub than they were at the stadium.
100%. Yeah. Mate, we used to go they used to, back in the 70s and 80s, they used to put on these these rock concerts, like at Granville and Victoria Park at Glebe and 2SM used to have, what was it, Rocktober and all those, and all these bands would come out and play, AC/DC, Hush. Yeah.
So I grew up obsessed with Midnight Oil. So
Midnight Oil was there, and they were just kicking off, And
so that's what I don't understand now is if you get that fucking famous with a band, right, and you've got all that fucking money in all the world, wouldn't you just go down the pub and go back to your roots and fucking just enjoy playing?
Mate,
you know what I mean? Like, why are you doing the stadiums? You're loaded. Just go and fucking walk into a pub, don't advertise you're playing, and just fucking put a gig on and
Paul McCartney does that.
Yeah, that's what I think. If I was a famous muso and I was loaded, I think that's what I'd do.
That's what you'd want to do. Go back to your roots. That's where it all go back. Mate, I always wanted to go back to where it started.
Yeah.
Musically. God, I remember It was on a Sunday afternoon. It was the first time I stood up with a band to play harmonica. You know, it was the Piermont Arms, it was called. And we used to have bands there every Sunday. And I'd get up there and I'd play. I'd start making this bloody noise, you know, with the harmonica. I didn't know what it.
Did the other guys look, think, what the fuck's that you're playing?
Who cares, mate?
Yeah.
You know, like, because Jim Conway said to me once, you know, from the Backsliders, he said to me, he said, look, the only way you're going to learn is by playing.
Yep.
You know? And he says, you can go up and make all the mistakes you want in the world. You know, go and do open mic nights. Make all the mistakes and sound like crap, you know. But you are going to get better and better and better each time you do it.
Yep.
So, and that's why I put that ad on, you know, where I met you, you know.
Yeah.
Coming, you know, because I just wanted someone to jam with.
Yeah, and that's,
you know?
and that's why I answered the ad that I saw it, because I was just looking to go and play.
Yeah.
But, anyway, circumstances weren't right at the time and I had to bug out because other things were happening in my life and that.
And it wasn't a good fit for me to. I'm a blues harmonica player.
Yeah, and I really like blues music.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of stuff I really like to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and I don't mind a little bit of heavy metal stuff, but just sitting around doing bluesy stuff is just, yeah.
Well, that's all I wanted to do. That's all I've ever wanted to do is play blues. I don't want to play rock and roll.
Yeah.
I don't want to play pub music. I don't want to be a rock and roll star. I'm 75. I'm not going to. I've missed that boat.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing I was in the Rocks. Like I think I was still in the Navy with my current wife, and we went to a pub in the Rocks just on a Saturday arvo, and I just remember these three old blokes walking in. I think there was a clarinet player, a bloke with a cup. He might have just had a snare drum and a cymbal, and then some other. I don't even know what the other guy was playing. Maybe keyboards or something that was in the bar.
Yeah.
They could barely fucking walk, and they just came in. They unpacked their bags and fucking played some jazz like you've never heard before. And the thing that I still remember now is the look on their faces. They were just fucking having fun.
Yeah.
They weren't making money. They weren't trying to. They're probably all dead now. They look like they were 70, well into their 70s, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But I still remember the look on their faces as they were playing music. And I guess that's what I've been chasing with me playing guitar. You know what I mean? I just fucking like playing it.
I know.
So, and that's it. I don't really care what I'm playing. And I guess that to some extent the podcast is that I've hit 50 and I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just doing shit that I want to do it. I'm doing it.
100, mate, that's all you got to do. Look, it's about fun. If you're not having fun, why do it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like it's like going out stubbing your toe. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
You know, but if I'm playing music and someone go, yeah, well, I like that, I'm going to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
You know, like where is it? I'll show you. Here it is. I'm just showing a post I got off my son. Here he is here.
Does he play? Oh, okay. He's taking up the harmonica.
I gave him a harmonica. I gave him a harmonica when he was in the army.
Yep. And
I said to him, "Here, mate, you need to, when you go down the army, there's a lot of blokes down there, you need an organ in your mouth." And we laughed about it. And I gave him a C harmonica, and I says, "Now I want you to practice and just play." And I says, "You know, like you've heard me play. It's fun. You enjoy it, so play it." And he does now. And now he credits me. He says, he tells that story. My dad gave me a harmonica.
Yeah, and he's still playing today.
Well, he doesn't play in front of anyone. He's shy, but he'll play in. He's a security guard, and he'll sit in his car and he'll play along to blues music, So
I found that playing the guitar. I learned classical guitar back in my 20s, and the music schools that had a fucking like a recital at the end of the year, and I fucking could not play a note,
Yeah.
I dead set. I could play it perfectly at the school. Like we had a classical guitar quartet, and I could not play a fucking note. And it's there was three older blokes and myself, and then a heap of kids.
Yeah.
And there was this young kid who was playing the trumpet, and my wife and me dad at the time, he fucking butchered this trumpet playing, and they lost the plot, and they were like laughing. Yeah. And I was sitting up there, and I could not string a fucking note together. So yeah, I spend most of my time in my music room.
Yeah.
With 12 bar blues in a looper, just fucking sitting there playing over.
And that's all you do, mate. Yeah. You do. Yeah.
That's my happy space. I'd say. Yeah.
Like I said, I've probably got 3 terabyte of blues music.
Yep.
On my computer. I'm in a blue file sharing room in America, and we all share our music.
Yep.
And I hear something, I really like, and I go, wow, I'm going to play that.
Yeah.
You know? But most of the time, I don't like to play a song.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I just want to sit there and, like the band is the cake.
Yep.
And I figure the harmonica's the icing.
Yeah.
I just like to fill in the gaps. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I did get a bit frustrated with that stuff we were doing. That wasn't really what I was looking for.
Or me.
Yeah. So, but I was just going because it was nice to play with other people, like play the guitar with other people, sort of thing.
I enjoyed just going there, and sitting in there and pulling the stuff out, and like I ended up buying 20 harmonicas, and now I'm not using them anymore.
Well, keep looking at Facebook. You might find another random band. Need it.
Yeah.
So going back to when you finish your degree.
Yeah.
Now you're out of that addiction. Do you see anything that happened to you in your younger years that pushed you towards the addiction?
No, it wasn't.
Or you were just fucking.
Look,
you were young and silly and naive.
I was looking for an identity.
Yep.
And this woman just had to come along. She come along.
Yeah.
I'd like to say at the right time, but it's probably the wrong time.
Yeah, probably the wrong time. Yeah. We don't fucking encourage drug use.
No.
But then you've spent so much time in drug and alcohol counselling and getting people off it. Do people hear your story and go, well, fuck you? You got on it. Like, what are you sitting here telling me not to fucking take it, and you're telling me that's what you're looking for?
Because I tell them you don't have to go through all that misery
to get to where you are now.
To where I am now.
Yep.
If you can arrest this now, because once like 90% of people would use drugs, or 95% of people who use drugs have got an addictive personality.
Yep.
They're addicted to something. Be food, sex, whatever.
Gambling, horse racing, smoking, fast
gambling,
cars,
whatever,
driving fast on your motorbike, whatever.
And and that's addiction's fine till it becomes a problem. When it becomes a problem, it's having the ability to put your hand up and say, "Hey, I need help."
Yep.
I've taken this as far as I can take this.
Yep.
And some people, unfortunately, don't make it.
Can't get out of it, yeah.
And they pass away, and it's sad because, like up in the pearly gates or whatever, wherever you go after you die, someone stand there and go, mate, if you'd have just hung on for one more day.
Yeah. Yep. Do you think you've had more success stories than not successful stories, like trying to get people off drugs? You know what I mean?
Mate, the good part, look, I'll tell you the story about when I worked in King's Cross as a drug and alcohol counsellor. That's where I did all my using. And, one lunchtime, I wanted to go down and buy some lunch down the cross. And I've walked down there, and there was this young Asian girl. She was standing outside one of the parlours, and she looked really miserable, and I just walked up and I said, "Are you okay?" She says, "No, I'm not. I don't want to do this anymore." And I said, "Well, you don't have to." I said, "Look, my office is just up on top of the fire station, so why don't you come and see me when you get a break, And so anyway, she come up that afternoon, And I said to her, I says, well, this is what you can do, you know. And I laid a couple of things out. I just says, the first thing is, you know, admit, you know, and you did it to me. You admitted you don't want to do this anymore, you know. And anyway, there was a church just up the road, you know, and they were having an NA meeting up there. So I said, well, you want to come for a walk with me? You know, I took her up there, sat her down and listened, you know, and I sat there for about half an hour with her, and I just said to this other woman, I said, listen, can you look after this girl? I've got to get back to work, you know. And anyway, I just left it at that. And anyway, my wife was having a birthday, so we went out on a harbour cruise, you know, and I was walking up George Street, and next thing I heard, Lindsay. You know, I turn around, here's this woman come flying across the road. Yep. You know, going, what the hell did I do? You know, my wife's looking, going, what, hang on.
What's going on here?
What's going on here? You know? She threw her arms around me, gave me a big kiss on the cheek, and she says, do you remember me? And I said, no. She says, I was working outside that parlour, and you took me over there. And she says, well, thank God you took me there, because I haven't used a drug for 3 years. I've got my own house. I'm married. I got a kid.
Yep.
You know, I said, I got my life back.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm going to say this, and I hope people do this, is because you say, are you okay?
Yeah, yep.
It's all you have to do is, are you okay? Because a lot of people don't want to let people know. But if you ask them, they'll either go, yeah, I'm okay. But you can hear it in their voice that they're not, so you can pursue that, you know. So
did you then? So did you get to the point where you could speak to someone on the street and you'd know whether that was going to? You know what I mean? You got a sixth sense. You thought this bloke's not coming up to my office.
Yeah,
this chick's would definitely coming up. You know what I mean? So you got
mate,
didn't stop you from having the conversation, but.
Yeah. How often have you walked through, you know, in your job, you walk through, you see someone sleeping in a doorway. You know, you see someone just sitting on the doorstep, you know, contemplating. Because I'll tell you right now, on my last day of my using, I was sitting on the steps of the Mansions Hotel in King's Cross, waiting for the 380 bus to come around that corner, and, man, I was going to throw myself under that bus.
Yeah.
That's how desperate I got.
Yeah.
You know, and thank God.
So you just had enough of chasing that.
Just the lifestyle, you know, being sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
You know, so so now I can give that stuff back to other people. Yeah. You know, and that was just one story. There's lots of other stories I could, you know, this could go on for ages. I could, you know, but, you know, I run groups, you know, I go and train police, you know, like we used to do in services with the police and medical staff. And because, you know, like doctors are the worst to educate because they won't wear glasses when they're operating or something, you know, but they get blood spurts, you know, and they don't understand. But because
that was all through the AIDS epidemic and
Hep C.
Yeah, Hep C.
Yeah.
Which is curable now, I believe.
Now it is. Now it is.
Did you? And you came out with Hep C or anything like that?
No, I didn't come.
Bit of a personal question.
Touch wood, man. I went and saw Dr. Lenane at Royal Prince Alfred Hospital. She runs the Hep C clinic up there, and I went and got tested and she did some tests and she says,
"No,
you got nothing."
Yep.
You know, and mind you, I mean, I guess me being loving food too helps that too, because, you know, like, I mean, I wasn't emaciated. I always looked after me. So I always had a shower, always shaved and, you know, did all that stuff, all that cleanliness stuff, you know. I wasn't a hobo.
Yeah.
You know, and but my thing was I used
Did you worry about your kids after?
No.
You didn't worry about them going into the same lifestyle?
Oh, yeah.
Like, did you, after you got out of it, did you actually fear, like, your kids, were you, like, hyper-vigilant of your kids and who they hung around and all that kind of stuff?
Look, my son now, I mean, he drinks, both of them, they'll, we have a family day here, and they'll sit and polish off 3 bottles of red wine, or 4, 5, 6,
Yep.
But then they both tradesmen, they both got their own businesses, and and I've always said to them, I says, if it ever comes a problem, come and talk to me.
Yeah.
And I've always been open since I've been back, with my wife.
So, yeah, because you said that you had to break up because you were both
using.
And so you said since you've been back, so you have a very, it sounded like there's a definitive of that was life then.
Yeah.
Now I'm back to normal life.
Well, we never saw each other for 16 years.
Yeah.
I don't know where she moved away somewhere. And anyway, a mate of mine said, I saw your ex-missus in Hurstville. I said, oh, what, did you run her over? Probably still a bit hurt. And and she says, she thought you might be a bit like that. She said, but if you want to see your son, just give a ring, and so I did. And, I says, let's meet up and we're going to have coffee and just, because I was, like I said, I was 16 years, 17 years into recovery by then.
And she wouldn't have had any idea about you being off it? Yep.
Oh, I think she did.
She probably did. I heard around the traps. So,
yeah. Yep. And so anyway, we met up and she looked pretty good, and I wasn't doing too good on the dating scene,
Yep.
So I said, let's go out and do a movie and just started off from there, and we got back together again and, the rest is history. Now we got grandkids and that takes up most of my time.
Did you have to get remarried or you didn't get divorced? Didn't get divorced the first time?
No, we went to Bali and we got married at the Sheraton there on the beach.
Yeah.
Full Balinese wedding.
Yeah.
With the gamelan and all that. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Hurstville. Hurstville, I saw, they don't have them anymore now. The paper boys used to push the yellow barrow around. That was me around Hurstville. Yeah.
Well, the kids used to do that when I came back on the job. They used to work up at the paper shop up here. But then
I had to say it, but my father probably arrested you in King's Cross at some point because he was a copper in King's Cross for a lot of years through the 68 to like 70, like late 70s.
Oh,
early 80s,
well,
I'd imagine you probably ran into him once or twice.
Yeah.
But it was all pretty dirty through the like you look at that show Underbelly, man.
Yeah.
Like I get that there's a little bit of poetic license in the writing in that. But if even 15% or 20% of what was happening in those shows was true, well, fuck, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And look, I know my father told me a couple of stories. He's passed away now. And he told me a couple of stories which I probably shouldn't fucking repeat because there's probably still plenty, which I'm not going to repeat on the podcast. But maybe I'd say in 20 years' time, I guarantee the people that are involved aren't around anymore. Yeah. But it was just, it sounded like a pretty fucking Wild West.
It was hostile, mate.
Hostile Wild West in the East place.
You didn't cross anyone up there.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know who you were crossing. You didn't rip anyone off because you didn't know who you were
ripping off. Yeah.
And otherwise, like 6 of them would get you in a back laneway and beat the living crap out of you.
Yeah.
So we're lucky to avoid all that stuff. And but again,
do you think that's because you were working while you were using? You know what I mean? Like you sort of stayed at
no, it's still up there at night, because the opportunity was up there. Like you'd we used to call them greenhorns, used to come into town from the bush, especially Friday and Saturday nights, like they'd drive in from Katoomba or
we used to make plans to go into the city.
Yeah. So they'd come up the cross, back in those days, I'll tell you, a good night out in the cross was being so pissed, had a fight, lost all your money.
Yep.
That was a good night out.
And had a cup of blood and a hot dog from Harry's on the way back to the ship.
Harry's on the way down, on the way home.
That's what we used to do. We'd be pissed as anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but those days, yeah, God, they were, God, yeah. And
but you didn't hear of people, like you see people, and the lockout laws and all that are there for a reason. We could probably discuss the pros and cons of that all night. But I don't recall hearing about people dying from one punch assaults back in the day. Like, so what?
No,
what's different about that?
Because people are scared today. People. It's easy to. They don't want to get hit back.
So go the big king hit, and
it's the coward punch, mate. They're
not seeing it coming.
Don't hit someone if you're not facing them. Stand there and just say, mate. Like back those days, you couldn't do it because your mates would jump on you and say, "Fight fair, you prick."
Yeah. Yeah, it was sort of like governed. It was it was an unwritten rule that if you're fighting dirty, it's likely your mate is the one that's belting you across the ear saying, "Hey, man, that's not fucking."
Mate, if I got the better of someone and I'm punching the living crap out of him, your mates are pulling. That's enough.
Yeah. Look, I wasn't back in the 80s, but I know when I was in the Navy, I wasn't much of a fighter, I suppose.
Yeah.
I was more of a lover than a fighter, and the amount of times that my Navy mates had stopped me from getting backed by someone through no fault of my own. Like they'd be leave me alone. He's not a blue. I'd leave him alone.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to fight me.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So I guess it's.
But a lot of people back in the 80s too wanted to prove themselves.
Yeah.
And they'd go up against the heavies.
Yeah.
And you knew who the heavies were.
My old man actually used to say a lot when he was in the Navy in the 60s and 70s. He was quite an angry young man. Yeah. And if someone looked at him sideways, it'd be on like Donkey Kong. Yeah.
You do. But that was back then. See, and it wasn't until the 90s where it all started changing. Everything started changing, political correctness.
Yep.
There was still gay bashings.
Yep.
And there was still all that stuff.
I remember going to what's the bloody name of that street? Oxford Street. With friends back in the day who were gay, and we'd walk out. There was one club we used to go to called the Lizard Lounge.
Yeah.
And we'd walk out there, and I'm not gay, but the person I was with was, and we'd fucking be yelled at in the street.
Yeah.
It was some of the best nights I've had. But you know what I mean? Like it was still...
they'd be driving in the road.
Nothing to drive down the road and yell at, you faggot, bloody blah, blah.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I was probably one of them.
Yeah, and I would be sitting thinking, fuck, man, I'm just going out for a beer with me mate, for God's sake. Yeah,
but it's where you were.
Yeah.
See, everyone had their turf, So, look.
Do you go into the city now to see shows and that? And no, you steer clear of
the... there's nothing in there for me, mate.
Yeah.
We might go in if there's a show on or something, but I'm going in there on the end of the month because one of the girls is leaving and she's asked me to come along to her farewell. So, but we worked together for a few years.
Yeah.
But a lot of my old work colleagues, they've gone. They've passed away, and that's the worst part about old age.
Yeah.
Is everyone you pass.
Yep.
Not been around.
Yeah.
So
it's funny because it's your 20s, you're going to weddings, your 30s, you're going to christenings, your 40s, you sort of balance out. There's not much happening. You might go to the occasional 40th, 50th, but you hit your 50s, people start to pass away. They're getting these fucking diseases that just suck. Like I said, my very, very close friend of mine, love her to death, he's dealing with one of those diseases with terminal cancer. You get to it, just fucking, you think, it's just sometimes.
Mate, I never heard of cancer in the 80s, 70s and 80s. I never heard of it. Well, probably I was deaf to it, but I never ever heard of it, but God, lately. Yeah,
it's a lot. Maybe we've got better testing now or something, I suppose.
Yeah.
People are going to the doctors more often, and so they're finding more things. But they say I don't want to talk. They say brain cancer is rare, but with a friend who's suffering from it, every person I speak to fucking knows someone that's had brain cancer. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, how fucking rare is this? This can't be that rare, because every single person I speak to knows someone or is either related to someone or it's fucking work colleagues. It's just like, fuck you. Are you kidding me? How can it be rare? Yeah. It's
well, mate, I'm 75. I'm retired, and I live. And today I live my life like it's my last day.
Yep.
I live it. I want to just keep living, man. I do Zoom meetings every day. With
I tried doing that. Like, have you been on that one where you can play in bands across the internet?
Yeah.
What's it, Jam Kazam or something? Yeah, I couldn't get the fucking
There's a few of them.
I couldn't get the bloody thing to work, and that's what pointed me towards the Facebook group. My guitar teacher time said, go on Facebook and fucking, and I said, I said to her, should I answer this ad? She goes, yeah, just fucking answer it and go and play, man. So I tried that Jam because I could not get that fucking thing to work on my computer. Not that I'm bagging them out, because it probably works really well in the States when they're close together. But trying to get that to work between America and Australia.
You can't. The
latency was just too.
It's easy here. Mate, now you get the workplace Zoom.
Yep.
And you just keep all the mics open and you just start playing.
Yeah. I might look into that, because this device I record me podcasts on, it can actually record voice from Zoom, so I can do Zoom interviews and whatnot, and phone interviews. So I've got to find some randoms in America, some everyday average Americans that need to be interviewed.
Just do it, mate. There's a lot of people in the world who pick up a musical instrument and want to play.
Yeah. And the other thing you see when you look at musos and YouTube and whatnot, like the guitar teacher I had back when I was in my 20s was a fantastic classical guitarist, but probably never going to make a shitload of money out of it, and probably had more talent than some people. You know what I mean? Some people will make it. Some people, they just don't. For whatever reason, some people fucking get there and some people don't.
Yeah. I didn't get there. But you know what?
You're on the East Coast averages, mate. If you had got there, you wouldn't you're not sitting here talking to me, that's for sure.
But you know what? God, what a journey, mate.
Yeah.
What a journey.
Yeah, life's pretty good, eh? Life is, it can be shit at times, but it's actually not a bad gig that we're doing here.
And sometimes you have to go through that to find the real you.
Yep.
And I'm not saying you have to do it. But geez, I didn't. Thank God, I
got through it.
I got through it, and I come out the other end, and I'm a productive, responsible member of society today. I'm not a drain on society.
And I guess society doesn't. You don't see the success stories.
No,
we're only seeing the non-success stories. The people who have passed away from drug overdose, and the guys who are robbing you and all that, and the gangs selling the drug. You don't see the success stories of people that have got. Because like I said, there is no way known that if I walk past you guys in the street, that I would look at you and your wife and think they came from a drug abuse background and had been heavy users in the past. No way in the world.
No.
Like I said, I was expecting to come here and talk about fucking playing blues music and shit like that. But the heroin use and being an addict wasn't even on the radar, to be honest with you. Yeah, didn't even come on the radar, eh? So, which is why I want to speak to average people. And when you said at the door, you said, "Oh, I'm happy to talk about my I was a user and that," and I thought, "Oh, fuck, it's
Well, mate, I don't hide my past. I live with I don't live in my disease anymore. I live with it.
Yeah.
So I everything I got today is a product
of where you've come from. Yeah.
I left addiction with not even a cent in my pocket. Yep. I've built my life today with everything I got, you know, and today I'm able to help my sons buy houses and and not bad from a dirty, filthy junkie.
Yeah, which, like I said, the stereotypical is that you were never going to get to here.
No,
if someone had seen you back in the 80s or my father might have been locking you up for something.
Yeah.
He might, the expectation is that you weren't going to be sitting down 30, 40, 50 years later as a productive member of society. And hopefully the work you've done in drug and alcohol has someone else, someone else is sitting there having that conversation with their mate or with their kids and saying, you know what, fuck, this guy Lindsay, he just said to me one day, fuck, I need some help.
Yeah.
And do you need help? And I said, yep. And now I'm sitting here, I've got a family, house, job.
Mate,
and nobody knows, and nobody knows where you came from.
Yeah. I mean, if you have no idea the range of people that are in recovery.
Yeah.
Where they've come. They're not all
no,
losers.
they're not all fucking dead. They're not all. And
Mate,
you know what? You don't spend your life, you don't grow up thinking, I want to fucking live in the doorway, smacked out of my face with no teeth, no food, and no fucking, and unwell.
Yeah.
That's not what you grow up wanting to do.
That's right.
You know how they, because that's what my parents used to say. They'll give you this first shot for free, and then you're paying for it from then on. Was that?
Well, geez, I'll tell you what. If that was the case, mate, geez, I'll tell you what. She gave good sex to get me.
So it was like you get to shag me, and for like a fucking bonus, you get a little bit of heroin on the side.
No, I don't think so. I think she, because
obviously that happens.
Yeah,
but that's not the way you sort of got into it. You don't think?
No. See, like let me show you. That was back in the day.
Oh, yeah. How old were you then?
Well, I was probably in my 25, 30.
Yeah, were you in your addicted then?
Oh,
yeah. So because like you don't look like you're like I said, you weren't emaciated.
No,
you actually look too healthy to be a heroin addict there.
No, I was always. I never lost the weight.
Yeah,
and still not. But, but my motto is long and thin may be in, but short and fat is where it's at.
Yeah.
So look, I'm happy. I am ecstatic, mate. I'll tell you what. If Joe Bloggs down the road could feel as happy as I feel, I've had all the day-to-day livings, trying to pay a house off, everything I don't owe one person 1 cent.
Yeah.
Everything I've got today, I own.
Yeah.
My wife and I own.
Yeah.
And I'm not a drain on society anymore. Today I'm a productive member of society, and I give back, and I'll always give back to the day I die. Mate, every day I sit and I talk to drug addicts all around the world.
Yep.
And I talk to them about how to stop using and there is a way out.
Yeah. Yep.
You've got to, you just
and look, someone listening to this podcast, some complete random could be listening to this podcast. Go and get some help, man. Yeah. It's there.
That's all it takes. Put your hand up and say, I've had enough.
Yeah. There are, whether it be a church, charity group, government-run organisation, there's someone out there, Lifeline, whatever, there's someone there that will put you in the right direction to help.
And, mate, doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter where you are, where you use. There's going to be ambulance. There's going to be a hospital. Everyone knows where somewhere you can go and get help. You just have to ask for it.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, no one's going to know.
And I think sometimes the health system can be a little bit chuck you out the back door. Yeah. You've just got to keep coming in the front door.
That's all. Just
got to keep coming in the front door and saying, I need some help. If they kick you out the back door, come back through the front door with a smile on your face, say, please.
It's a revolving door. Yeah. It's a revolving door. You go around, but eventually, you'll catch the bus.
Yeah. So talking to people on Zoom in America, is fentanyl a big...
I reckon so many people were dying on fentanyl.
Yeah.
They were cutting them into strips.
Yep.
But the strips, you don't know how much is in that strip and that strip or that strip.
Yeah, so they're cutting them and selling them in the strips. Yeah. Yeah, because putting the patch on with chronic pain is the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're saying they're mixing it up, and I don't get it. See, I always said the day I have to inject in my my legs will be the day I gave up. And thank God I never had to inject my legs. No.
Do you still have issues with your veins and that now from that time?
Yeah.
Is there any other medical problems that you think where your doctor, obviously you're honest with your doctor, and he says, yeah, this is probably from that 10-year period of using?
No, he's mate.
You've given up smokes as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
When the day I turned 1 year in recovery, off 1 year clean.
Just put them in the bin?
I said, I'm going to give up. I've got to give something out. You know, I want to reward myself. What do I do? And they said, and someone said to me, why don't you let go of something you don't want? I said, all right, I'll let go of cigarettes and coffee.
Yep.
So I let go of cigarettes and coffee on the same day.
You haven't had a coffee since then?
No, or a cigarette.
Yeah, I like me coffee. I fucking like me coffee first thing in the morning,
man. See, cigarettes and coffee go together.
Yeah, see, I guess, when I gave up smoking, everyone used to say to me, oh, it's a fucking habit with your hands, it's something to do. When I gave up smoking, I could look back at it after a year and say there was nothing but a nicotine addiction. It wasn't something to do with my hands. Yeah. It wasn't something to smoke. It wasn't fucking something with a beer. I wanted nicotine and that was it.
Yeah.
That was for me anyway. Yeah. Obviously other people are different, but
beer and cigarettes, or in the morning, a lot of people, you know, how many people do you know who say, oh, I've got to start the day with a cup of coffee and a cigarette?
Yeah, yep.
You know?
Yeah, I start the day with coffee now, no cigarette. But when I was in the Navy, man, I used to wake a bloke up in the morning and he'd roll out of his rack and a Winnie Red had been in his mouth and lit before his feet hit the deck. You know what I mean? Like, because we could still smoke below decks in ships when I first went to sea. So, yeah, but he would roll out of his rack and a Winnie Red would be lit before he hit the fucking deck.
Well,
or he'd be in the shower. Yeah. And for some reason, I cannot stand the smell of cigarette smoke in a bathroom when the shower's running with the steam. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's just, I've always found it quite offensive.
I can't.
And he was standing in the showers having a fucking ciggy.
Oh.
So
I can't, you know, but when I gave up cigarettes, my first 6 months, anyone smoked, I'd walk past and smell it, you know, like, because I still missed it.
Yeah, look, I can. You could sit there and smoke a ciggy while we're doing this, and it wouldn't bother me in the slightest.
Well, that's how I am. Someone can be sitting there using, not they wouldn't come into this house.
Yeah,
but I go, idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't find the smell offensive at all if you were smoking a ciggy now. I could sit beside and eat a meal. And
well, we don't. My sons, they go out on the front porch to smoke. We don't let them smoke in the house.
Yeah.
So, well, it's not we don't. They just respect us. Not to.
Yeah, back in the day, man, everyone smoked.
Everyone smoked.
Like nowadays, hardly anybody smokes.
Yeah.
Like you're at some kind of work course or anything. 20 years ago, smoke break, 25 out of 30 be smoking. Now, there's probably 5 out of 30 that smoke and one that's got the guts to light it up and actually have a smoke. The other 4 are hanging out thinking, fuck, I'll just have one when I get in the car on the way home. You know, or they're too scared to actually light the thing up.
See, for me, why bother?
If you're not going to smoke it at work, if you're too scared to light it up at work, then why
bother?
Go that extra hour on the way home without having one. Yeah,
that's like, do yourself a favour. Let go of something you don't need. You know, it's just need. You want it, but you don't need it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so well, I mean, I don't know about this, but it didn't talk much about music.
No, you went straight from fucking harmonica to drug. But I guess that's I suppose having listened to you chat about it, it's who you are. Like your drug and alcohol counselling is a lot of who you are. Yeah. Music seems to be where you go to decompress from the, because it's pretty high pressure drug and alcohol. You know, some people are going to make it. Some people, I'm sure you've had clients that have passed away from drug overdose. I guess going to the harmonica playing is where you go for your decompression. Let it go, relax, mindfulness, whatever.
Music takes me out of it. You know, like,
so let's go to music. I don't know a lot about. I grew up listening to Midnight Oil, obsessed with Midnight Oil.
Yeah.
That's all I listened to. Then I joined the Navy quite young. We weren't allowed to have music on the ships.
Yeah.
Like you weren't allowed to have Walkman or any. I'm not sure what is that because you couldn't hear the alarms going off. So when we're at sea, we didn't listen to music. So I grew up not listening to music.
Yeah.
So I don't know a lot about, like, if I listen to people talk about AC/DC and the Angels and even now my daughter is mad into the 90s grunge, Nirvana and stuff. I never listened to any of that because I was in situations where we just didn't listen to it. So I've sort of come into music quite later on. So if I say to you, like, your favourite blues artist from Australia, that I would have no idea you're talking about. But I'm going to ask you, for everyone else in the podcast, let's talk about some music then for a little while. So when did you get in? Like, did someone give you the harmonica, or do you remember hearing some blues back in the day when you were a kid and you thought, fuck yeah, that's doing something for me, that music?
I went to a concert. I went to a concert at the Sydney Town Hall back in 1973.
Yep.
And Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee were playing. And I heard Sonny Terry playing this sound, this harmonica, man, and I just thought it was just this little instrument, and I thought, with my lifestyle, I could keep that in my pocket, and I'd try and learn how to play it, so, and there was no internet or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and I went across the road and there was a music shop and I just said, how much for a harmonica? And they said it was $15 for back then.
Fuck, that sounds expensive back then.
$75 now for a harmonica.
Yeah, that's expensive. And you know what surprised me, actually, just changing the subject real quick, is that how you said when they break, that's it.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah.
You break a reed, there's no replacing it.
No. Well, you can get a comb. You can buy combs.
But it's easy just to go and buy another.
Mate, yeah. If you got it, because...
So is that, a $75 harmonica now, is that like, is that top quality? Could you go and spend $500 on a harmonica to get better than that? Like, how guitars...
Oh, you can. If you can get custom built harmonicas, like from the States and that. Not so many people do it here. Well, I don't think anyone does it here.
Yep.
They get imported from the States. I'm on Facebook on a few harmonica sites.
Yep.
And a lot of guys are building their own harmonicas and
so you just go to the music shop, sell one of them for $75. So $75 gets you a really good.
Oh, it'll get you a top. Hohner harmonica or a Lee Oscar.
Yep.
Yeah, and when you're learning, you start off on a C harmonica. And you progress to there. You learn.
That's the other thing I didn't know as well until we started jamming, is that you would ask what key it was in and then change the harmonica. I just thought fucking harmonica was a harmonica, and you just played it. You know what I mean? They were all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I walked out of there that night thinking, all right, there you go. I've learned something about music. Fucking harmonicas will come in different keys.
Yeah.
Who'd have fucking thought?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think that, but yeah.
So, and. And when I heard them play, I wanted to play harmonica.
Yep.
And so, man, I got this harmonica and I sounded like a squealing cat.
Yep.
When I started playing. I didn't know anything about learning a blues scale. I didn't know anything about who taught harmonica. There's no teachers I knew of. So I just made these noises, and I just kept listening to blues music, and I started to pick it up, and I just slowly started to pick it up. I'm still not a great harmonica, but I can play harmonica.
Yeah.
But geez, these guys were the greats. They've all been like, I don't know about the old blokes like Charlie Musselwhite or someone like that. I met him, and I met that guy, and
is he an American?
American,
yep.
Oh yeah.
Because the harmonica came from America, from down south.
Down south, the cotton fields.
Yeah.
And so I just started listening to sound. I try to replicate that sound, and slowly I started to build. And then I'd add that sound to another sound I like, and I just slowly built it up that way.
Yeah.
And now getting to play just some 12-bar. I love playing 12-bar blues.
Yep.
And
because it's just so easy to play. Well, it's not easy to play, but it's just got that beat that just, I don't know, it resonates with me. I just like playing 12-bar blues.
Yeah.
But I can just play it over, whether it's got a bit of swing in it or not, and just play it over
you can,
and over and over again.
Because you can improvise.
Yeah.
You just, it's 12 bars. You introduce, doesn't matter what it is,
So you've not had any formal training on the harmony? It's all been self-taught?
I had a bit with what's his name? Conway. He was with the Backsliders. I can't remember offhand.
Yeah.
I'm old now.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was my harmonica teacher for a while.
Yep.
And then he got sick and died.
Yep.
So
is there many harmonica teachers out there? Is it something, because it always seems to be the one instrument that most people teach themselves?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't see a lot of, I've never Googled it, but you don't see a lot of harmonica instruction videos come up on YouTube.
Hundreds are on.
Like I said, I've never actually gone looking for them. I'm usually looking for guitar and stuff. So.
Mate, well, first off, you need to learn the blues scale if you're going to play blues.
Yeah.
And it'll show you on YouTube how to play the blues scale on the harmonica. And if you're not practicing half an hour every day, you're not serious about playing harmonica.
Yeah.
So.
And how often do you still play daily?
I'm always playing along with music, and that I got 3 harmonicas just sitting on in front of my computer.
Yep.
Because
I think that's also with musical instruments. A lot of people that learn it is they say, because I got quite obsessed with playing the guitar for quite a few years, and I was spending 2 or 3 hours every day playing. And I would say to people, don't put your guitar in the box, leave it sitting out.
Yeah.
When your wife's going to the toilet, if you're going out somewhere and your wife's putting makeup on and it's 5 minutes, pick the fucking thing up and play something for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If an ad comes on the TV, pick it up and play something for 5 minutes. And I have to say, my family listened to some pretty shit guitar music for quite a few years, and absolutely love them to death because they never complained once.
Yeah.
Then my daughter started playing, and I'll be sitting in the lounge room and I'll be thinking, fuck, that's loud. That's fucking annoying too. And then I thought, you know what? That's what my family have been listening to for 5 years. Yeah. And I actually thought, I actually said to my wife, I really appreciate you not saying, would you fucking can it? And I mean, they must have heard the opening 4 bars of, what's that fucking song? Classical Gas. Like I started teaching myself Classical Gas before I could play anything else, which is not the easiest song to play. Yeah. But my kids have probably heard Classical Gas probably a million fucking times. And thank God they did. But I heard my daughter play and I thought, I was pretty fucking annoying for the last 3 years.
But you've got to be that annoyed to
get there.
To get timing right. Just timing.
Which is why I just let my daughter play and just thought, you know what, that's what they did for me. I'm doing it for them. So
I got my grandson's 2.5. He's got his own harmonica. He walks around here
blowing, and
it was just blow. Yeah. But now he's he's drawing and blowing. Yeah. So it's everything. You got to start. It's building a house. You can't build a roof first. Yeah. You got to build a foundation. Sometimes the foundation is harder to build in the house.
Bumpy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So just keep plugging along, mate. And you'll get there.
Yeah.
You'll get there. Yep. If you want to get there, you'll get there. Don't just too many people give up.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't give up. Just doesn't matter how bad it sounds. One day you will get it.
Yep. So do you still go and see bands now? Like if you see someone you'll go and watch them play blues bands and stuff, and you're still doing, you're saying you'll go on open mic.
Yeah.
When you go to an open mic, do you take a song with you? You put on like the PA, or do you just get up there and play whatever?
Just get up and play with the band.
Okay, so if I was there playing some 12-bar blues with a mate, you might just say, "Oh, fucking."
What key?
Yep. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I'm still too nervous to do that, eh? That's on the list, Lindsay, for me to do.
No,
Because like I said, I'd actually, when I started having those couple of jam sessions with you guys, I'd actually never played with anyone but my music teacher. And then when, I don't remember his name now, who sang with us for a little bit, like it was really good. The couple of times where he got some songs that he was singing to that sounded good, it was a good feeling, eh?
But you were okay. You were really good.
I knew I was the fucking... I was the weak link out of everybody.
Listen, put the critic down.
Yeah, I know.
Put the fucking critic down because we're all got a critic in there who's going to say, you fucked. You're not.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, like, and at the end of the day, you know, you're up there doing it. They're not.
Yeah.
You're up there doing it.
Yeah. Actually, I said that to my wife this morning walking. We were going for our walk this morning. I was talking about coming down here and doing the podcast. And we're talking about, because she's quite a good artist and she's very nervous about putting her art out there. And I just said to her, I said, you know, I'm not going to fucking get a single listen on a podcast if I don't put a podcast on the fucking internet. So there's no point talking about wanting to do a podcast and saying, I wonder how many listens I'll get or how many downloads without putting it out there. It's like, you're not going to catch a fish sitting at the camp talking about it's the wrong fucking tide to fish. Go and fuck put a line in the water, you might catch a fish.
That's what I say. Just have a go. That old saying, have a go. If you don't have a go, you're not. You'll never know.
Yeah. So we're coming up to an hour and 22 minutes. So you've had a pretty colourful life. Like I guess the can you say you're lucky in an addiction that you didn't go on the wrong side of the law too much?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is that like something? Is that? I sort of feel wrong.
Look,
it feels wrong to say that you were lucky in your addiction that you didn't fall into drug trafficking and and you know what I mean, and end up in jail and then fucking just all goes to shit from there.
All those opportunities were there, but I had the mindset to think ahead of that.
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm a sook when it comes to my freedom. You know, I couldn't do that stuff.
So you still had a bit of a conscience about stealing from people.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I still did.
Yep.
But
you said you're a professional liar there, so there's a bit of
I mean, I still did, but yeah, you know, the good part about I never got caught at a lot of things. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what I did, but
that's good. Yeah. But like I said, it feels counterproductive to say you had a lucky addiction because you kept away from that. Fucking like there's in a world of addiction, there's you've got the dealers, you've got the standover guys, you know what I mean. There's a lot of shit happening.
I've done that. You know, I've done all that stuff. You know, like not standover, but you know, like I've.
Things you shouldn't have been doing.
Things I should, you know, like I was looking after a couple of working girls, you know, like, you know, that was because it was money.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, driving trucks, you know, pulling unloading containers and go, oh, yeah, I'll keep that box for me. Yeah. You know, I was a petty criminal, you know, if you want to call it that. But thank God, you know,
you came out of it.
I came out with all my faculties, you know, healthy body, healthy mind, you know, and respect for humans, you know, like I never broke into a house, you know, I never broke into a car, never did any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I never ever became that desperate.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. And now at 75, if someone's listening to this podcast who's either in the throes of addiction or, and obviously we can't give out medical advice, but what advice would you give them as Lindsay, 75 years old, gone through 10 years of addiction, 38 odd years of drug and alcohol counselling? What's the one thing you'd say to people?
Stop right now. Go and get help.
Yeah, put your hand up, ask for
Put
help.
your hand up and ask for help, because I tell you what, it doesn't get better, it gets worse, and there's no guarantees that you're going to make it through till tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't want to die on the end of a needle just for a feeling.
Yeah.
I still had a lot of life to live.
Yep.
You know, I wanted to have kids. I wanted to have a wife. I wanted all that. So I wanted to go on holiday. I wanted to, you know, play music. I wanted to do all that stuff.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm grateful for everything I've got today. I'm even grateful for my past.
Yep.
You know, would I do it again? Probably not.
Would you advise someone to do it? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. But maybe you having to go through that has helped untold amount of people
mate,
get out of going through that sort of thing.
I reckon, you know, I do a lot of guest speaking around the world, you know, and I'd love to say that, look, at the end of the day, when I kick off, at the end of the day, if I've stopped one person with that filthy drug, I've done my job.
Yeah.
But I know along the way I've helped countless others.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to big note myself.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You're not coming across like that.
Yeah, good. I'm just your average bloke, which we did it tough in the early days. You know, I came in. You know, I always played the victim when I was using, but today I'm not. I've got charge of my life. You know, and there is life after drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. I could talk to you for bloody hours about your drug and alcohol. Did you find that you had, when you worked with people in drug and alcohol, there were some people that came into it from a drug abuse background and others that came into it from, my dad was addicted to drugs, so I've decided to go into that line to stop people. Did you find that you had, were you better at it having come from, you know what I mean? That's a bit of a, because I guess someone like, who went to uni to become a psychologist because their dad had psychological problems, I guess they're still coming from it from the same sort of place, aren't they?
Yeah, no, look, it's not, you can only help someone who wants to be helped.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what your background is.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. You know, I have experience, I have hope, you know, I have knowledge, and if someone wants to sit down and talk to me, which a lot of people ring me up, and we talk on the phone about it, you know. What can I do? How do I stop doing this? How do I stop, you know, stinking thinking? How do I, you know, I'm getting a pile of money, you know, and I feel like, I could go and have one more shot. I says, that one more is the one that's going to do the damage, you know. So all that stuff, you know, like my key phrase is nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah.
You know, only you can initiate a change. And that's by being vocal about it, saying, help, I need help.
Yep.
I want to stop.
Yep.
Simple as
That's
that.
what I'll call the episode, Lindsay. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll put that on the front.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the advice you would give.
That's the
Put
advice.
your hand up. Nothing is going to change in your life until you change something.
100%.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty sound advice, Lindsay.
That's a bit.
And like I said, you said it yourself. I'm just an average bloke trying to help people.
That's all I'm doing, mate.
Yep.
You know, like I'm no guru or no, you know, I don't get $100,000 a year for saying this. I'll walk over broken glass to help someone get off that filthy drug.
Yep.
You know, only because what was freely given to me, I can freely give it to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds pretty good, Lindsay. I've enjoyed chatting to you about that. Like I said, I walked in here thinking I was going to spend the whole time talking about music. We've just spent an hour and a half talking about drug abuse, getting off drugs. And look, you know what? If anyone's listening and it's brought up any bad juju or thoughts on that, you'd probably be better off.
Ring Lifeline. Or go
speak to your family, speak to someone. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Someone will help you. Sometimes it looks like people have got the shits with you.
Yeah.
But ultimately they'll
They want you alive.
They want it. Yeah, they want you around tomorrow, and they might have the shits because you've done something, but they still want you to get off it.
You know, everyone's got a mother, father, brother, sister, and they want them there for Christmas Day. They want them there for birthday. They want them there and see that they're succeeding, you know. And if someone can arrest this disease of addiction, you know, put your hand up and say, I need help. Yeah. Simple. And it is a simple program for complicated people. Only we complicate it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Have you been back to New Zealand much since you left there in your 20s?
Yeah.
You're back and forth fairly regularly?
No, I went back a month and a half ago. My brother died.
Oh, so good. Sorry to hear that.
Cancer.
Yep.
And, and I don't want to be in that position. I want to live. And last thing he said to me, he said to me, live a healthy life. And I said, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, well, that's all you can do, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm grateful. And thanks for allowing me to talk to you about this stuff.
No, that's right. This is, like I said, mate, this is the whole premise of the show.
Yeah.
Walking into people's houses I don't really know and finding out about their lives. And like I said, it's a lighthearted view, and a lot of the topic we spent today is a bit more than lighthearted, but that's, I think, after speaking to you for the last hour and a half, that's who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the East Coast average, Lindsay, is the drug and alcohol counsellor.
Yeah. Mate, and one day I'd love to talk to you about my travels around the world. And,
and look, I've been doing this. This is, I think you're probably about the 12th or 13th person of let's say an interview. I'm sort of having a chat. I sort of want it to be like a chat thing.
Yeah.
And it's the people man, you could spend 8 hours talking to people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is only a tip of the. This was only part of how I got to where I am today. So, but hopefully someone hears and goes, God, look, if that bloke there,
that buffet can do it.
That buffet, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I am. I'm just a knockabout, you know, just a average bloke, you know, just trying to do his best, you know. And but if I'm doing it.
Yep.
So. Anyway.
Well, thanks for talking to me, Lindsay. I really appreciate it, coming on East Coast Averages. I can't give you anything but my thanks because I don't make anything from the show. Just doing it for fun. It's been very, very interesting talking to you. And, if anyone's out there, reach out for help. And, enjoy the rest of your day, Lindsay. Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. Keep playing music.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to another episode. I'm going to do a part 2 of Lindsay. So it's coming out in a couple of weeks. So I'm not sure what that one's going to be about because I haven't sat down and recorded it yet. There's some changes to my email address. My new email address is info@eastcoastaverages.com, and there might even be a website coming. So press follow, subscribe, leave a good rating. Come back next week and listen again. I'll have some more news about the website. Another episode in 7 days' time. See you then.